Everybody, welcome back. Today we're doing something weird today, okay? We're going to talk about something that's been on my mind for some reason. Full disclosure, I fully expect this video to flop. Give me all the support that you can. Leave all the likes and the comments and the subscriptions. They help me out a lot, okay? I promise. Now that that's out of the way, today I would like to talk about some Pokemon that we have right now that I think are going to be way better than they currently are when we get to a restricted format. That sounds weird, right? If you don't know, every couple of years, I'm kind of expecting like maybe next year Worlds will be, but it might not be until the year after that. It's like every like 3 or 4 years, something like that. We have what we like to call a restricted format or a GS Cup format. Lots of different people call it lots of different things. And basically what that is you are allowed to use a limited number of box art legendary Pokemon. So, all your stuff like Groudon, Kyogre, Palkia, Dialga, Koraidon, Miraidon, all that kind of stuff, including like Mewtwo, Calyrex, all those Pokemon, okay? Now, the last one that we had was actually last year. Worlds was a restricted format with 2 legendary Pokemon. Very standard for us to be allowed to have 2 on each team. And I was thinking that we have quite a good chunk of Pokemon right now that aren't very good right now, but might be really good when we get to a restricted format. So I just wanted to talk about them and share some of them with you, and hopefully get your brain thinking a little bit. It's never too early to start planning, right? So let's jump right into it here. The first category of Pokemon I want to talk about are Pokemon supportive weather Pokemon. Specifically Sun and Rain, because we'll have Kyogre and Groudon, which are very offensive weather setters, which is not something that we currently have. Right now our weather setters are like Torkoal, which Torkoal's kind of offensive, but like it's offensive in you need to either support it by making it faster or like setting Trick Room or something like that, which the Pokemon on this list don't do. Or you have Pelipper, and Pelipper is not very offensive at all. Pelipper itself is like a supporting kind of rain setter. All it really does is set the rain, and sometimes it'll set Tailwind and stuff. But we have Groudon and Kyogre. Those are 2 very offensive Pokemon that'll benefit from like supportive Pokemon that want to be in that weather. So the first Pokemon I want to talk about, this is like a good chunk of the reason why I'm making this video, is Overqwil. Overqwil, if you don't know, it has the ability Swift Swim, and it also gets the move Acid Spray. Now what Acid Spray does is it says that the Pokemon that you hit with it has -2 special defense, in addition to doing a little bit of damage, so we'll break like Focus Sash, stuff like that. And this is just really good. Any Pokemon that would take the Water Spout is not going to take Kyogre's Water Spout after this. And now you might be thinking, oh yeah, but like Kyogre's kind of slow. That's fine, because Overqwil also gets Icy Wind. Overqwil, you remember that Poliwhirl team I made a while ago? Maybe you're a newer subscriber, you don't know. Go back and watch that video. Go find it. Just type in Poliwhirl VGC team. I should be one of the first thing that comes up. Poliwhirl was good because it was a very supportive Swift Swim Pokemon. It was faster than Regieleki, and actually it does go faster than Booster Energy Iron Bundle. So for anybody who's wondering, yes, you can outspeed Iron Bundle with Scarf Kyogre if you have a Poliwhirl next to it. Very funny. I want to say Overqwil hits a very similar speed stat. Yeah, 85. So if we run max speed, we hit 150. We do just barely come short of Booster Energy Iron Bundle and Booster Energy Flutter Mane. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like a deal breaker. You know what I mean? So yeah, we can Icy Wind, make things slower, and that way we can outspeed them with our Kyogre. If you don't know, Kyogre with a Choice Scarf and Modest Nature will outspeed Regieleki at -1, which is a very fun calc. The next Pokemon I want to talk about is Lumineon. Lumineon also has Swift Swim and does have Storm Drain, which is not to be slept on in formats where Kyogre is legal. But it gets Swift Swim. It also gets Tailwind, which is kind of like a niche thing for a Swift Swim Pokemon. Now it does get other supporting things, like you can run Helping Hand. It also gets Icy Wind. Safeguard might be kind of big for like Amoonguss, who can normally take that Water Spout pretty well. Yeah, I don't know. Lumineon's just a funky Pokemon, and honestly, like, it gets Encore too, which is pretty cool. Like a Encore, Tailwind, like Helping Hand set on Lumineon would not be terrible next to Kyogre. It's just something to think about. And Lumineon actually is fast enough to outspeed everything under Swift Swim. The next Pokemon, the last weather Pokemon, really is Scovillain. Now, Scovillain has like kind of a weird moveset for a Chlorophyll Pokemon. It doesn't really get any speed control. But it gets Rage Powder, which is not something that really... I mean, some other Chlorophyll Pokemon get it, like Jumpluff, and maybe, you know, Jumpluff should be on this list, but Jumpluff has had its day in the sun, you know what I mean? Like, literally it has its day in the sun. I don't want to talk about Jumpluff. But Scovillain gets Rage Powder. It's a lot bulkier than Jumpluff is. It also gets Will-O-Wisp, which is pretty unique for like a Chlorophyll Pokemon. Can be sneaky good into like an opposing Groudon. But the one thing that I kind of want to focus on here is that Scovillain gets this new move called Spicy Extract. If you don't know what Spicy Extract does, it says that the Pokemon that you target has their attack raised by 2 and their defense lowered by 2. And there's a really fun thing you can do with this. You can target the opposing Pokemon, and then you could have like a Groudon with Mirror Herb sitting there, and you can copy the boosts that Scovillain gives, and you don't copy the defense drops. So you can immediately go +2 on your Groudon and attack into a -2 Pokemon for huge damage, which is really cool. And since you're like going immediately +2, you can afford to run more bulk, more speed on that Groudon. It also gets Grass Knot, which is sneaky good in those restricted formats into Kyogre, into Groudon, because they weigh a ton. So it's a base 120 power move. I think that's as high as Grass Knot goes. No, it's actually, I think it's 150. I think it's base 150 power move into those restricted Pokemon, which is really neat. Yeah, I don't know. I just really like Scovillain, and I feel like it's probably going to be one of the first things I mess around with when we get to a restricted format. Running it next to Koraidon, you can do it, or running it next to Groudon. I think it'll be kind of cool. Now we have 2 Sunsetters. I don't know if you play Groudon and Koraidon like next to each other. It's kind of funky. The next batch of Pokemon that's going to be really good when we get to restricted Pokemon are Future Paradoxes. Now, I think all of them are going to get just a little bit better, but these are the ones that I think are going to be like way better than they are right now. I left Iron Hands off because, yeah, it'll be better, but it's been like really good. It'll be about the same amount of good regardless of whether you're playing Miraidon or not. But just having like a consistent setter for electric terrain would be kind of huge for these Pokemon. So even if we got like Tapu Koko, I think these Pokemon would be amazing. We're going to talk about them here because obviously Miraidon sets electric terrain for these guys. Now obviously your whole team's going to be weak to ground, but you can get around that. Don't worry. So Iron Treads. Iron Treads can be adamant, right? And, well, I have 0. Hold on. Please hold. Just gotta give ourselves a physical move so it doesn't... Yeah, there we go. Well, it can't be adamant. But you can run like this on Iron Treads. And at 158 speed, with the Quark Drive boost, you will outspeed everything that Iron Treads needs to outspeed. Now, if you wanted, I mean, you could go even faster, but like this and then like a bunch of bulk would not be a terrible like spread for this Pokemon. Because it is like a Steel type, and Steel types are very bulky. And it also gets, it's basically its signature move this gen. I mean, it's not really, but it gets Steel Roller. Oh my god, please. Give me the move. It gets Steel Roller, which if you don't know, if there's a terrain on the field, it ends the terrain, but it's a base 130 power Steel type move, and you can only use it when there's terrain. So like if you're switching that Miraidon in and out and like setting the terrain over and over again, you can just keep clicking Steel Roller, and honestly, it's really funny, and I've messed around with it with Pincurchin. But it gets a lot of good moves here. We get Knockoff. Obviously, we get like, I think we get Close Combat. Do we get Close Combat? No Close Combat. That's a big L, honestly. Yeah, really the only reason that Iron Treads hasn't seen play like Great Tusk has is because Great Tusk gets Headlong Rush, and it's easy to run on a Sun team. There's no like electric terrain team to run Iron Treads on, and I feel like when Miraidon is around, this is like a crazy Pokemon. This is a crazy good... It gets like Volt Switch. Wild Charge is a super good move for a ground type to have. You cannot understate the electric type coverage here. Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle is already a good Pokemon, but imagine if every Iron Bundle could carry a Focus Sash and get the Booster Energy Speed boost. How scary would that be? On a scale of 1 to 10, how scary would it be if every Iron Bundle was at like +1 speed and had a Focus Sash? And that's how scary Iron Bundle is going to be. And I really don't think I need to say anything else. I mean, obviously, Iron Bundle, you know, it gets freeze dry. You can run it with Blizzard. You can run with Icy Wind. You can run Hydro Pump on like a rain team. But when Iron Bundle can be Sash and get the Quark Drive boost, it's a very scary Pokemon. The next one I want to talk about is Iron Moth. I don't know what item you'd run. Maybe just like Sash or something like crazy. But the reason I put Iron Moth on here is because it also gets Acid Spray. And if you go for like a Quark Drive speed boost, you will actually, wow, you have to run Nose. Oh no, I'm not running Timid. If you go for like a Quark Drive speed boost, you'll actually outspeed Miraidon. So this could actually sit next to Miraidon and click Acid Spray into its moves and like take huge KOs, which I think could be really funny. We've seen this with like Fluttermane before, but when you could run a different item on Iron Moth besides the booster energy, I think it's going to be a lot better. And obviously, it gets a lot of supporting moves. Sludge Wave is really good if you have the Electric Terrain. You're next to like your own Iron Treads. Or you can run Terra Steel Miraidon. I don't think that would be awful, though you still have the ground type weakness, which is kind of bad. But yeah, does it get Quiver Dance? It doesn't get Quiver Dance, right? It's pretty funky. Nope, no Quiver Dance. If it got Quiver Dance, it'd be stupid. But it gets like Acid Spray. Does it get Tailwind? It does not get Tailwind. But it does get good moves, I promise. You do get Fiery Dance, you get like Fire Blast, you get Heat Wave, all that kind of stuff, which will be neat. You can run like a Sun and Electric Terrain team. Iron Moth would be a really like key Pokemon on that kind of a team. Iron Jugulis also gets better. Iron Jugulis has a lot of good support moves. It gets Snarl. It does actually get Tailwind. So if you EV yourself to get the speed boost, you have to run like not max special attack, I think, just like all these other mons. Oh no, you can run max special attack. Look at that. It gets Snarl, it gets Tailwind, it gets like Dark and Flying coverage. Dark Flying types are traditionally pretty good, especially in these restricted formats. Like Yveltal's usually pretty good just because it is really specially bulky and it is immune to Groudon. But a Pokemon like this that gets the Quark Drive speed boost and can just click Tailwind so Miraidon can knock out Kyogre or maybe like Snarl the Kyogre would be really cool. And the only Photosynthesis Mon I think is going to be better than it is right now. Because honestly, the Photosynthesis Mons are all good right now. And they're like good whether they have Photosynthesis or not. It doesn't really matter. But Screamtail gets a lot of really good support moves. And I think maybe if you run this next to Groudon or Koraidon on a Sun team, it could do a lot of stuff. I mean, it gets Howl, which is pretty cool. You can get like free attack boost that way. It gets Disable. It gets Encore if you want. It also gets Perish Song as like an emergency win condition. Yeah, it gets a lot of it. It gets Screens. It gets Trick. It gets Wish. You can run Amnesia if you really want to. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a really cool Pokemon. It's really funny that it gets Gyro Ball because I imagine that like Jigglypuff, Screamtail literally weighs nothing. So that's really funny. That's something for me to think about for some teams I'm working on. Yeah, I don't know. It has just such a good supportive moveset. And like I said, we don't really have an offensive Sun Pokemon that wants Screamtail next to it. But if we can run like Leftovers, really bulky Screamtail with the Photosynthesis speed boost, that sounds really good to me. I don't know. That sounds really good to me. Okay, so the next category of Pokemon that we're going to talk about are Revival Blessing Pokemon. Now, really, there's only two of them. There's Pawmi and there's Rabsca. But I feel like Revival Blessing, it's kind of like an underexplored move, right? Nobody's really figured out what the best way to use it is. Like, really, the only way that we've seen people use it is either just to revive random Pokemon or like revive Explosion, which I have done, of course. But really, like, the main thing we've seen is revive Dondozo. And why Revive Dondozo is so good is because Dondozo is a crazy Pokemon if you get like it up next to Tatsugiri. You can Dondozo twice. Well, the same kind of logic comes through. Like, Revival Blessing would be really good in a restricted format because you can just, like, Kyogre again. Or, like, Calyrex Shadow again or Calyrex Ice again would be pretty neat. That's really, like, all I have to say. I mean, obviously, Pawmi has Bullet Absorb, which might be good into Miraidon. All those future Paradox Pokemon. It also gets moves like Encore. It gets Fake Out, which is really huge. Honestly, Fake Out's an amazing move. Nuzzle's really cool. Paralysis is a really good condition. It gets Wish. Volt Switch is good. Eerie Impulse is a really good move. Because this is faster than Kyogre, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's way faster than Kyogre. And then Rabsca on the same deal. It gets Trick Room. So, like, this would work better on, like, Calyrex Ice teams. You can, like, set up your Trick Room, get your Calyrex Ice out. When Calyrex Ice goes down, you can bring it back, which is really neat. It also gets Cosmic Power, which is one of my favorite, like, gimmicks to run around with. You also get moves like Struggle Bug. You get, like, Guard Swap, Power Swap to steal your opponent's stat boosts if they, like, set up a bunch of stat boosts and you want to, like, screw them over. Speed Swap is really funny. I haven't seen Speed Swap in a while, actually. I feel like it doesn't exist. Well, this is a sidebar for me. What Pokemon this generation gets Speed Swap? Is it just Rabsca? That's so funky. But you could, like, take the speed away from a Pokemon. And Calyrex Ice is faster than Rabsca. Yeah. So you could actually, like, protect Speed Swap. And now your Calyrex Ice is faster than your opponent's Pokemon. Which would be, like, low-key kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, so the next Mons. I like Mons that Kabi boosts, I guess. Flamigo. Okay, hear me out. Hear me. I'm a Flamigo believer, okay? Flamigo is not just a Flamingo. He is my friend. This is one of my... This is probably my favorite Pokemon this generation. Like, unironically, Flamigo is probably my favorite Pokemon this generation. Obviously, we have an excuse to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it, okay? Listen. Okay, if you are not a Flamigo believer, I want you to remember that Xerneas and Calyrex Ice exist, okay? If you don't know, Xerneas has Geomancy. Let's, like, just, I could add it at the end here. Spoilers, sorry. Xerneas has Geomancy, okay? We're pulling it up because we need to be very specific here. Geomancy, you can't trade Xerneas into Scarlet and Violet right now, so it's going to say it's illegal. I'm sorry, hold on, give me a second. We'll make it work. Where are we? Not Dex. Okay. Xerneas. Let's just, hold on. Right there. Okay. Bet. Bam. Bada bam. Bada bing. Bada boom. We're still going. Okay. Xerneas gets Geomancy, okay? And if you don't know what Geomancy does, it's you run Power Herb, so you can do it in one turn. And then you click Geomancy, and you raise your special attack, your special events, and your speed by 2 stages each. Now, Special Flamigo is not currently a thing. Most of the time you want Physical Flamigo, and you can still run Physical Flamigo with this, but Flamigo does get some special moves. You get Hurricane, you get Air Slash, you can just run Special Terra Blast, you can even run, like, Chilling Water if you want. I was thinking, like, Terra Fighting Terra Blast would be funny, because what Flamigo does is it's a fighting type. And it hits all of those steel types that Xerneas struggles to hit for super effective damage. Now, obviously, we can just run like Terra Fighting Xerneas or Terra Ground Xerneas or whatever, but that's not as funny as Flamigo, okay? I just think about it, okay? Think about Flamigo next to Xerneas. You Geomancy, you switch in the Flamigo, and now Flamigo goes off. And that sounds so funny. I might even test it before Skullvillain because it sounds that funny to me. Okay? Alright. Moving on. Ditto. Ditto is obvious. Ditto can be if your opponent brings a restricted Pokemon, you can switch Ditto in. And now you have it. Now you have that restricted Pokemon. And that cannot be understated. That's really cool. Ditto, we love you. Annihilate. Okay. Alright. So I was looking. I was looking at restricted Pokemon. Every single restricted Pokemon has less HP than Annihilate. Okay? I tried to do this with, what's that Pokemon called? Excelgor before. Excelgor has like base 90 HP or something like that. And every restricted Pokemon, like almost all of them have 100 or less. I think they're all 100 or less. I went and looked through a bunch of them. Annihilate has more HP than every restricted Pokemon, including the bulky ones. Annihilate has Final Gambit. Choice Scarf Annihilate can straight up KO any restricted Pokemon that is not Calyrex Shadow. Not for free, but like basically for free. Trading an Annihilate for like a Kyogre is a little free. Let me tell you. So I think that specifically Scarf Final Gambit Annihilate is going to be way better in a restricted format than it is right now. You heard it here first, everybody, okay? When everybody's running Choice Scarf, Final Gambit, and Annihilate in the restricted format to just take free KOs, you heard it here first. Remember your friend Andy. Okay, when somebody else posts a video with it before me, you go, Andy did this. Okay? Alright? Okay. The last one is just Earthworm. It has Earth Eater. It's Steel type. It does a couple of things, right? Obviously, you can't really run Heavy Slam anymore. You'll have to run Iron Head because Xerneas is pretty heavy. I don't think Xerneas is lighter than Earthworm, although I'd have to check. I guess we could check what their cannon weights are, huh? Let's find out. Let's find out. This is important to the Earthworm. Let's see. Earthworm weighs 683 pounds. How much does Xerneas weigh? Xerneas weighs 474 pounds. Okay. What's the calc for Heavy Slam? Because I actually have no idea. I know that we're max base power into like Fluttermane because, you know. Let's see here. Where's the damage calculation? Oh, let's see. Relative weight is... The target's weight is... Okay. Okay. So it's going to be like 80, I think. Is that math? Wait. Hold on. Oh, it's going to be base 40. That's kind of lame. That's kind of lame. You have to run Iron Head to hit Xerneas, but like you'll resist Xerneas, so like really it's fine. And if they want to run Terra Ground, they really can't. Because Terra Ground is not going to hit Earthworm. Earthworm will be good because Groudon's going to be good. And Earthworm is just immune to Groudon. And it can set up a substitute. Not substitute. Well, it can set up a substitute. But it can click Shed Tail. And it can like switch in and get the HP back very easily. It might even actually make Earthquake Groudon could. Because you can run it next to Groudon. Which sounds like super cool. Honestly, like... Free setup Swords Dance Groudon. I don't think Groudon gets like Dragon Dance, but if it did, if they decided to give Groudon Dragon Dance, that'd be pretty neat. I don't have Groudon on here. Let's add Groudon. Groudon doesn't get Dragon Dance, right? I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Dragon, no. But it gets Swords Dance. And it gets Bulk Up, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Bulk Up Groudon behind a substitute? That's pretty neat. That'd honestly be pretty cool. Yeah, Earthworm. I don't know. Play it with Groudon, play it against Groudon, beat the Xerneases. I think it'll be neat. And that's the last Pokemon on the list here. Are there any Pokemon that I've missed? Are there any Pokemon that you think are going to be better in a restricted format than they are right now? Leave your answers down in the comments, okay? Yeah, this is probably not an exhaustive list. As always, guys, if you like this video, leave me a big fat like. Leave me a comment. Like I said, tell me if there's anything that I've missed. Go ahead and subscribe. The biggest favor that you can do for any content creator that you are following is to subscribe to them on YouTube. It just boosts the video up really good when you gain subscribers off the video. It doesn't have to be me today, but go do some content creator that you're watching a favor and subscribe to them on YouTube. And if you want to be a certified AndyLaVGC fan, support all the great content that we make here. You can do that. It's 99 cents a month. You get the channel badge. You get all the emotes. You get your name in the AndyLaVGC credits, which are going to be starting here in a minute. But with that, everybody, my name is Andrew, and I will catch you guys next time.
Fluttermane, 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 Fluttermane. Making big reads in my flutter brain. Eevee's giving me flutter gains. Play it on rain, call it flutter rain. Get what you run a flutter train. Boss so smooth like a buttermane. Fluttermane, Fluttermane, Fluttermane. Fluttermane, 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 Fluttermane. Making big reads in my flutter brain. Eevee's giving me flutter gains. Play it on rain, call it flutter rain.